have the best job in the world because I design stuff, I design things. And I had the chance to speak with many different companies, from the small startups to the biggest Fortune 500. And I always ask them the same question, the magic question. How do you drive innovation? How do you shape your design process in order for your product to be innovative? And I do get often the same answer. Yes, we are an innovation-driven company. We have a fab lab, a makerspace. We invested in, we bought 3D printers last year. We even sponsored a hackathon. Oh, that's interesting. What did you came out with? Oh, it was very funny. We hacked a hair dryer and a camera, and we 3D printed a part that actually, a connection that actually could go on every hair dryer in the planet, because yes, we want to change the world and make it a better place. And this gives you the chance to take selfies in your toilet while you're drying your hair. There is no clue about how to design innovative products. It seems as though there is somewhere a recipe, but nobody knows it. It's the chimera of the market. It's the El Dorado of the Far West. But on the other hand, it's very easy to define if a product is innovative when it hasn't been made, when you have it in your hands. It's a kind of limbic gut feeling that we all have, but it's difficult even to explain in words. Do you remember the introduction of the iPad? If just one day before I would have told you that you were in the need to buy a very big phone that couldn't fit in your pocket, and by the way, wasn't even capable to place phone calls, consumer would have said, I'm not comfortable, I don't want it, why should I buy it? We wouldn't have even understood the innovation if explained in words. After, of course, those 5 minutes of presentation and the sales skyrocketed. So, what is innovation in a nutshell? How do we achieve it? How do we define it? I'm a believer that the process of innovation is not a plaything of the romantic genius that discovers the law of gravity just because he's been hit by an apple under a tree. I strongly believe in processes, and I believe there's a process for innovation in order to create progress. It relies on the definition of, I would call it appropriation, or you can call it cross-fielding, if you want, that are the real drivers of progress. Synesthesia. And for me, it is the spice to add to any design methodology in order to create innovative ideas. Because you see, every design methodology uses the same stages with just different names. It's been hundreds of years of evolution and of writing encyclopedias, books about the concept of designs, but boring designers and boring critics, they always tell us the same things. They tell us that you need to research the environment you're dealing with, your market, your battlefield, however you want to call it. You need to come out with a concept, you refine the concept, you test it, and ta-da, the game is over. But how do I come out with a concept? How do I find an idea? How do I go from here to there? It's not easy. Synesthesia is a rhetorical figure of speech that puts together different senses or different fields of significance. We all know it. It's widely used in writing or in poetry. The silence was as thick as a forest. One sense is described with the word of another one. Or we know it because of psychology. An image that reminds of a sound. It's very clear here who is Maluma and who is Takete. Or in movies, especially Hollywood industries knows how to use it very well. Do you remember the spaghetti western from Sergio Leone? The good, the bad, and the ugly? This is the final sequence, the so-called the Triello sequence.
Hey, boy! You know what you are! Just a dirty son of a bitch!
And of course the music of Ennio Morricone. Spoken word that become music. It actually works better in Italian because we say the word. So, how do we apply this to design? What I'm saying is that to create innovation, you want to expand your research process, not only to the environment, the specialized, the verticalized environment you're dealing with, but even to other fields that can be connected or somehow similar to your environment, where maybe the solution for the problem that you're looking for has already been found. For example, I believe that in order to design an innovative game controller, you might want to take a look to other things that have the same strong hand-object relation, the same interface, or the same kind of interaction, like tools, for example. Or that if you need to design a non-contact thermometer that doesn't look like a gun, nobody's actually very comfortable in pointing a gun to their forehead. It kind of drives negative feelings. You can take a look to other fields where you do have devices that you point to your face without having those negative feelings, like cosmetics, perfumes, or even hair dryers with no camera. Maybe you can end up with a product like this that was revolutionary in its industry because it looked like a spray rather than like a gun. Or you might end up designing a VR headset for car gamers that actually is shaped and looks like a sport car. Or again, VR glasses that are not yet another piece of cheap plastic to hide in a drawer, but they have all the details and the finishing, the touch of a product that creates desire, that creates affection, like a leather bag. Synesthesia is a powerful tool to drive innovation, and for that reason, in a way, it can be a method to predict the future, if you want. You want to know what is the color of next year for your new device, for your new product? Use synesthesia. Take a look to other more evolved fields, like cars, or like computers, or like fashion. They kind of all go for similar design choices. So if you know your market positioning, if you know where you are, you can easily know where the market will go and what kind of design decisions you need to take. The funny part of this thing is that after a few years, after 2 or 3 generations, the cycles begins again, starts over. And there's a very simple reason for that. You remember when you were a kid and you were liking so much the jeans that your father was wearing, or the shoes that your mother was wearing. Of course you liked them because of what they represented to you, father figure, mother figure, but you were a kid, you didn't have any money to buy them. So smart companies, they're giving you back the same experience, the same shapes, the same colors, a few years later, when you actually become a consuming target. What a bad word. And this is why you end up buying something like this, decades later. It's a powerful design and marketing tool. And because I believe that in innovating and using this these tips, these tricks, is a very difficult and resource-consuming process. I do believe that innovation should be rewarded. So, of course, if you're so lucky to design stuff and to be a designer, I believe you should just go and design for innovative companies and design innovative products. But even as a consumer, you can ask yourself if what you're buying is innovative, if it was the first one, if it's original, or if it's just a copy. I, for example, try to reward and to buy products from companies that are not basing their choices on market research. Not that I don't believe in market research, but it's a powerful tool, but it's just a picture of the present. It basically doesn't have anything to do with the future. It's basically the company asking you what you want, and instead you would want them to give you what you need, what they think you need. If you're buying your new sound system, you don't want to be drowning in tech specs and become an electronic engineer or an audio expert. You want them to give you the right product for you. See, this is a kind of thing that drives me crazy. It's like going to a doctor and being asked, what do you think you have? I don't know. You're the doctor, I'm the patient, you tell me what I have. And it better be innovative. And copy. Copy is criminal, and it's nothing more far from innovation. When you copy, a creative mind dies. No, it's not true, but you possibly kill the dream of two young guys that went for crowdfunding on Kickstarter with their idea. And if it's not convincing, at least you create pollution with yet another useless object for the garbage bin. And if it's still not convincing, maybe it's garbage for the cradle of your children. We don't need another chair design. There are more chair designs than asses in this planet. We need to stop it, unless it's not innovative. Thank you very much.